To input your large format press preferences, click on the large format press button on the toolbar or select large format press from under the PrintQuote Pro menu. If you wish to create a new set of preferences for a large format press, choose Create New Press from the Press Name drop-down menu at the top of the screen. This clears all the large format press variables. To assist with accuracy, all the rates, press running rate, stock weight rate and the extras rate have an accuracy of 3 decimal points to facilitate more accurate pricing. The large format press preferences facilitates the quoting of a wide range of equipment. There are a number of different ways in which the equipment can be costed. These include the running rates, the weight rates, extras rates and charges. They can be made on a per item basis or a per run basis. In addition, you can have 2 additional processes, process 1 and process 2, each having a base rate, a make ready and a rate per number of items. And this will facilitate the quoting of poster printers, screen printing processes and other types of signage equipment. The running rate is based on printing a square metre or a square foot in the US. Type the values into the fields below the press running rates. Click the Add button to create a new rate entry. You will then be asked to give the press a name, and the press will then be saved and added to the press name drop-down menu. From here on, you will use Update Press to save any changes. The digital press running rates start at a quantity of 1, and the quantities are then incremented from 1. Any quantity that's above or equal to the last rate will have the rate used in the press running calculations. If you have a large format press that has only 1 rate for each black and white and colour, just make 1 entry with the rates with a quantity of 1. This will mean that any quantity equal to or above 1 will have that rate. You're not limited to a certain number of rates. You can have an unlimited number of running rates. And when the press cost is calculated, the full list of running rates is considered in the calculations. Generally, the large format press preferences can be used for short run jobs. However, multiple running rates can be applied similarly to the large format press as the digital press, running rates, etc. So we'll enter the first rate. And click Add to add that to the list. We're then asked to give the press a name. And then the rate is added to the list. So then we continue adding rates to the list. Now we've added our rates. 1 to 20 are costed at $10 if it's a black run and $12.50 if it's a colour run. 21 to 40 are costed $8 if it's a black run, $8.50 if it's a colour run. 21 to 40 will be costed at $6 if it's a black run and $6.50 if it's a colour run. And 61 and above will be $5 and $5.50. So we can hit modify to modify the values. If we had an extra quantity there that we wanted to remove, we first select it and click the delete key, and then that will be asked to confirm the deletion. Click yes to delete the item. The digital press weight rates list various weights of the stock. As the stock becomes heavier, then this may affect the efficiency of the press. The stock weight rate allows for the weight of the stock to be taken into consideration when calculating the press running price. The stock weight rate is added to the press running rate to compensate for the weight of the stock used in the job. And you're not limited to a certain number of weights. You can have an unlimited number of weights. And when the press cost is calculated, the full list of the stock weight rates is taken into consideration in the calculations when the Add Weight Rates to Press Running Rates checkbox is selected. It's added to the rate prior to calculating the cost of the job. So again, we type the values into the field. And click Add. And so on. And then we add the rest of the rates. Now we've added the weight rates. We can modify a weight rate simply by selecting it, changing a value, and clicking on Modify. Select the rate, change it, click on Modify. Again, to delete a rate, you first select it, click Delete, and you'll be asked to confirm the deletion, and you click Yes to delete it. The Extras section facilitates the addition of costs on a per item basis or on a per run basis. Again, we type values into the fields below the extras. Choose whether it is to be charged on a per item basis by clicking the PI checkbox. If the checkbox is deselected, it will be charged on a per run basis. A description can be entered detailing the reason for the cost and a rate. You click on the Add button to save and add the extra to the list. Again, we can modify an item by first selecting it, changing the value, and clicking the Modify button. And again, if we wish to delete an item, we can select Delete, click Yes to delete the item. The Add Stock Weight Rate to Press Running Rate checkbox, when selected, adds the weight rate corresponding to the weight of the stock in the run to the running rate when calculating the cost of the run. When this checkbox is not selected, then the stock weights will not be taken into consideration when calculating the run. The Add Extras checkbox, when selected, adds the extras rate to the job calculations, otherwise they will not be taken into consideration. You can choose not to add the extras to the running rates if you wish. Calculate costs by area factor. The area of a running sheet can be taken into consideration as well. The cost is a factor of the size of the default, a square metre or a square foot in the US. The area of a running sheet is calculated and compared to the default area by an area factor, and this is obtained and taken into consideration. The running rate is multiplied by the area factor. For a 50 cm by 80 cm sheet, the area factor is 50 by 80, 4,000 square centimetres, divided by 10,000 square centimetres, which equals 0.4, because the running sheet is 0.4 times the size of 1 square metre, the default sheet. For a 150 cm by 80 cm sheet, the area factor is 150 by 80, which is 12,000 square centimetres, divided by 10,000 square centimetres, which equals 1.2, because the running sheet is 1.2 times the area of the default. If the Calculate Costs per Item radio button is selected, the running rate is used for each item in the run, and the area of the job is not taken into consideration. If the Process Colour Rate radio button is selected, then the rate is used for all 4 colours in the run. If the Individual Colour Rate radio button is selected, then the rate is used for each individual colour in the run. So if you have selected 2 spot colours, then the rate can be multiplied by 2 for the run. Enter the maximum number of copies per run for this press. Enter the minimum number of quantities per run for this press and the cost of consumables per 1,000. Enter the maximum number of colours per run. If it's full colours, that'll be 4. If the checkbox "Use the quantity rate for the relative quantity level in a run" is selected, the first rate will be used to calculate the price of the first quantity, the second rate for the second quantity, and so on. Using the running rate list, if the run was 70 sheets printed in colour using the above rates, the first 20 would be charged at $12.50, the next 20 would be charged at $8.50, the next 20 would be charged $6.50, and any quantity over 60, in this case 10 pieces, would be charged at $5.50. Use the quantity rate for relative quantity level in the run is not selected, then the complete run will be charged at the rate that is equal to the relevant quantity. If there were 70 items being printed, then the rate used for the entire run is the rate equivalent to the quantity. 70 is over 61, so the rate would be $5.50 for each item for the whole run. The minimum quantity for a press, any quantity that is lower than this figure, will be charged out at the cost of that many. If the minimum quantity is 5, then the minimum charge would be $10 by 5, $50 for a black run, $12.50 by 5, $62.50 for a colour run. The consumables can be added, and this cost can be added per 1,000 in the run. The print area, we can enter the print area of the press, and when you choose a size in the guillotining tabs of quotes or jobs, it will be taken into consideration in the calculations. We can enter the make ready cost for the print run and the make ready time. If there are any overs, and we can add any overs if we want any overs in the run. We may only have 1 or 2 if they're posters. There's also the facility to add 2 additional processes that can be costed into a job for a piece of equipment. The additional processes can be used to cost in up to 2 processes that are running simultaneously with the main equipment process. The boundary between printing and signage is now less defined. The additional process section can be used for equipment that requires additional processes running in tandem with the job, for example signage or screen printing jobs. Additional processes can differ from extras in that the additional processes can have a base rate and make ready and are independent processes applied during the job with the particular piece of equipment. These processes are available and can be assessed when setting up any large format presses and equipment preferences. There are 2 additional processes, Process 1 and Process 2. They have 3 options: Add Process, Modify Process, and Delete Process. If we click on Add Press Process, we can give it a name base rate, a make ready, and a rate per thousand, or however. We'll do it for 10 this time. Then we're going to make ready time and how long that takes to do 10 items. And the second process is done exactly the same way. And now this will be calculated into the job as the job is running. To update these values, we click Update Press. We get the option to change the name of the press. Just press OK. To make the digital press the default press, first select the press and then we click on Default Large Format Press. And then whenever we start a new quote or job, this will be the selected press. You can also delete a press by first selecting it on the drop-down menu and then click Delete Press. And you'll be asked to confirm the deletion prior to it being deleted. If you're creating a new press that has many of its features the same, just with a few minor differences, you can duplicate the press, give the press a new name. It will then become the current press. Then you can make your changes, click Update Press, and you've now got two presses. This can be very helpful when you've got two processes and presses that are very similar with their preferences, with only a couple of minor differences. So just duplicate the press, make the minor differences, update it, and then you've got an extra press. And then we can click Done. Now we've finished.